Hello everyone, welcome to Chapter 8, Video 3. In this section we're going to talk about testing a claim about a standard deviation or variance. We are going to be in Section 8-6 and we're going to do Problem 10, which is very similar to your homework problem. I'm on page 465 in the current edition of the textbook. So once again, Chapter 8, Section 6, Problem 10. In this problem, I'll read it to you first and then we'll discuss how we're going to do it. Pulse rates of men. A simple random sample of 40 men results in a standard deviation of 11.3 beats per minute. The normal range of pulse rates of adults is typically given as 60 to 100 beats per minute. If the range rule of thumb is applied to that normal range, the result is a standard deviation of 100 beats per minute. Use the sample results with a 0.05 significance level to test the claim that pulse rates of men have a standard deviation greater than 10 beats per minute. Okay, so what we're going to do here is see if the data that we've gathered proves or disproves, in a sense, the rule of thumb of 60 to 100 beats per minute with a standard deviation of 10 beats per minute. So we're going to see if the 11.3 is in fact statistically different from the given 10. So we need to open up the proper data set. I'm going to go to File and I'm going to hop over here to my disk drive, which has the data sets on it, and Men's Health is where we can find this. I'm going to scroll up and there is the necessary data. And we also need to open DDXL. We're going to do that as well. So let's go ahead and go to Computer. We're going to go to C, Program Files, and DDXL. I'm going to click on that. Enable for this session only, and now under add-ins we should have access to DDXL. Okay, so under DDXL we're going to go to hypothesis tests. I'm going to slide that over a little bit, and before we go any further, I didn't check it. I'm going to have to cancel out of this. Remember to always check how many rows you go down to. We go to row 41 because we won't be able to see that down there once we get into DDXL, and then you'll end up doing what I just did and having to cancel out and start over. Hypothesis test, slide that over. We're going to do chi-square for standard deviation. Remember, when we're testing, comparing standard deviations, we use chi-square, and we're going to enter in our variable, which in this case is pulse, which is F2 colon F41. So it's cell F2 through cell F41. I did not include, I have to do it over again now. First row is variable names. I don't like to include those on these because it's not really helpful, so I'm going to enter that again. This is unchecked. I'm going to click OK. And that takes us to this screen. So first we're going to set the hypothesized sigma. Now this is a little tricky because when the sigma also means standard deviation. When you look at the problem, you see the first standard deviation is 11.3, so your instinct is going to be to put 11.3 here. But DDXL actually will calculate the 11.3 for you. Because the 11.3 was derived from the data set that we just referenced. So the standard deviation we want to put in here is the one that we're testing, which is actually the 10. All right. And then we're going to set the significance level at 0.05. We're going to select an alternative test. Now, since we're checking to see if the pulse rates are greater than 10 beats per minute, we're going to set a right-tailed test. Then we're going to hit compute. Okay, and we can see that the test statistic is 49.8 and the p-value is 11.52. 0.1157, and at this we fail to reject the null hypothesis at alpha, which basically means that there's not enough evidence to support the claim that men's pulse rates have a standard deviation greater than 10. Okay, so even though we got a result of 11.3, we cannot prove that that is the real standard deviation, and the one that we thought was right, which was 10, is incorrect. We cannot prove that. So that's it for section 8, for video 8.3, which was section 8.6. As always, please read the text. If anything was confusing in here, any terms I used that you weren't familiar with, and please contact me with any questions.